Radio! Let's start another thing about irking and people and how they get on my nerves. So most of you, right, that work in a supermarket and or a department store and or a Lowe's or Home Depot, Martin's or something like that, know how self-checkout works. Some of you are actually pros at self-checkout. There are a lot of people out there who aren't pros at self-checkout and get on a lot of people's nerves about being completely dumb and stupid. I think those are the same thing at self-checkout. So as before, I have a list. Actually, it's a notebook, but it's about 3 pages long of things. Okay, 4 pages long, full of things. I wrote them down as they happened, so it's going to be extremely accurate as to what I have to deal with on a daily basis. I had a closed register today. There are 4 total registers, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. I will get to it later of which one is which. Anyway, there was one that wasn't exactly working. I had a customer who walked up to it and turned and was about to scan items, and then they were like, "Ma'am, why can't I scan my items?" I look at her and I'm just like, because it's closed. It felt extremely idiotic for it to come out of my mouth. It so incredibly stupid. It was the stupidest answer. And she's like, "Oh." And then she's like, "Well, where else can I go?" I'm like, there are 3 other registers. Pick one. I didn't say that to her. I wanted to, because it was such an idiotic thing. Like, use your eyes. You see a circle, a red circle that kind of looks like a stop sign with a little dash in the middle. That means you can't enter it, meaning you can't use it, meaning it doesn't work. Go to another one, or like, I don't know, turn on your brain and use it. For please, save the humanity race. That makes sense in some way. And just turn on your brain, use it, and be like, "Oh, okay, I can't use this register. That's fine, that's fine. I'll just go into another one." I'm not going to bother her because it's just going to be an idiotic thing to ask. You're welcome. Put you on the spot. Okay, the second one I have for self-checkout, when it says, "Please place item in bagging area," do not turn to me. Ask, "Help! The light and button are flashing. You have my blessing. Please push that button. You are able to." I have so many people just be like, "Why can't I scan my item?" Oh, I don't know. Because, 1, the red light is on. 2, you need to put the actual item into the bagging area. You can't just be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna place," I threw it behind me so it goes into the basket. I'm just gonna not put it into the bagging area. No, you need to, or else the machine is gonna think that you're stealing something. Excuse me while I swallow my spit. The machine is gonna be like, "Oh, you're stealing something. Ma'am! Ma'am! This person's stealing something." I'm kidding, that's not how it's gonna sound. But it's gonna be like that. Only there's not gonna be any alarms. I wish alarms would go off. Anyway, you have my blessing. Please push that button. It is just so idiotic for me to walk over and be like, that's all you had to do. You get 4 tries. The 4th try, I actually have to come over and help you with it. But you have 3 tries to push that button. Please push that button. Do not look at me. Be like... Again, turn on the switch in your brain. I beg of you. 9 times out of 10, you'll get a dumb customer. It's pretty accurate. They weren't all dumb. Most of them got it. And others, they were just older, like senior level older, not senior high school level or senior college level, like senior, like, "Oh, I need a walker to walk," or "I need a scooter to scooterize myself through the store." That kind of senior. I had a few of those. People who don't read. Next topic of the agenda. Okay. For example, see this thing right here? See this thing right here that you can't see behind my fingers? You slide that into the end of the computer and it's basically just reading the chip instead of sliding it these days. I had a customer in lumber. He put in his card and then a few seconds went by and he's just like, "What do you want me to do now?" I look over and the pin pad says, "Please remove card." I just stood there. I'm like, I'm not gonna answer your stupid question. I didn't say that. But I was thinking it. So I just stood there and he's like, ma'am, what do you... Oh, it wants me to remove it. I'm like... How many people, like, read these days? I don't get it. You need to read. You need to read to get by in life. So why don't you read while you're shopping? It would go by a lot faster if you did. Oh look, she changed her room around. She's wearing a different shirt and her hair's messier. God? Now, people with kids, the kids don't know it, but the parent knows it. Excuse me, I need to fix my hair. It's all kind of disgusting. The kids are going to be sitting on the scale. So, like, the parent knows that the scale, that where you put your items with the bags is a scale, right? They know that, right? I hope they know that. Because every single time the kid gets on there, it always messes up the weight, and then the customer calls me over to where they're sitting, and the kid's still hanging on, like, the little metal thing with the bag, and, like, I'm just like, well, you need to get your kid off of there, because that is a scale, and that's why it's messing up with the weight. Nobody ever gets it. Why doesn't anybody ever get it? You won't believe how many people actually walk up and say, does this take cash? When it says it on a sign above and then below, card only. And it's a big red sign too with white letters that says card only. And now we're right back to where it says people don't read because they don't read. They have to ask me, do they think that I know how to read? I mean, I do know how to read, but, like, do they know how to read? It's kind of weird, you know? It's very strange. I had this one customer today. He came into my line, and I led him over to the card-only section. And I didn't know it at the time, but he only had cash with him to pay with. So we got through the entire order. He was about to pay, and he holds up $60, 3 20s in his hand, which was not enough to pay the bill, but I mean, he's just like, oh, all I have is cash, man. Why would you lead me to a register that only has cash? I'm like, why didn't you tell me that you only had cash? This is something that we should have went over. And he's like, well, I mean, in my defense, you didn't really even ask me cash or credit. And I'm just like, honestly, I thought you would just read the card only sign and then tell me that you only had cash. This is the way it's supposed to go. I can't read your pockets or your mind that you only have cash. This is a completely imaginary story because it did not go down to like that at all. The overall point to this entire video is that you need to have a high tolerance for stupid people to be working in self-checkout. Thank you for your time.